everybody, welcome back to the September Mix podcast. My name is Claire, I'm 23 and I live in the French-speaking part of Switzerland where I study psychology at university. So today I'm very enthusiastic to be here with you because I haven't filmed a knitting podcast in a while, and today is actually the first snowy day, so I thought it was a great opportunity to record one. It's the morning right now and it's obviously freezing outside, but I'm warm and cozy. I'm currently wearing not a jumper that I've knitted, but I have thrifted this. This is 100% cashmere and I found it for 5 Swiss francs, which is about $5, and I think that might be my proudest thrifting find. So yeah. So today I've got a bunch of items to show you, a lot of finished items, one neck warmer, one shawl, 2 hats, a few accessories, some socks, and also some work in progress and a lot of gift knitting for Christmas. So yeah, I think we are all ready to go. I'm going to start with the first item, which I've already shown you before. Oop. This is the balloon cardigan by PetiteKnit. I've shown it in my previous knitting podcast in the finished category because I finished knitting it, but I actually attached the buttons and I blocked it. So I just wanted to quickly show it to you. Here they are. So these are the buttons. Is it focusing? These are the buttons that my boyfriend made for me out of olive tree wood, and I love them. I think they look so nice on my cardigan, and I've been wearing it so much because it was the perfect knitted item to wear during autumn and winter when it was getting colder and colder each day. So here we are. Second finished item. Oh, by the way, if you want more information about the cardigan, I will invite you to check out my previous knitting podcast, or knitting podcast number 4, I think. I knit this in 1 strand of horse yarn and 1 strand of brushed alpaca silk by drops. Okay, so second finished item. I still haven't blocked this. I really should, but I've been wearing it a lot and it's so warm and lovely. This is my Terrazzo neck by PetiteKnit. I really should have put this on a hanger, but well, that will do. That will do. So it is finished. It's been worn already quite a lot. And it is very big. I knit it using a gauge that was way too big in 1 strand of Alaska by Drops. I think it was a color 01, and 1 strand of Kid Silk by Drops. I made the small, I think there are only 2 sizes, and I made the smallest one. I had said in the knitting podcast where I first talked about this one that I had 5 skeins of Alaska by Drops. Actually, that turned out to not be enough at all. Looking at my notes right here, I actually used the 5 skeins of Alaska plus a little less than 2 skeins of Drops Snapple. These aren't exactly the same thickness, but it was close enough, and I knit the this part, the whole turtleneck, using only nipple, and I don't think you can really tell the difference. So yeah, I've been wearing it a lot. It is huge, way longer, well, not way longer, but longer than what the pattern says to knit it. It's a bit shorter in the front, longer in the back, and it has this lovely 1 by 1 twisted rib, actually, which is kind of annoying to make, but it looks really nice, so I think it's worth it. And it has a way longer rib on the bottom. So I've been seeing a lot of these necks, I guess, and they're really great, I must say, to put under coats, because I have a coat that is quite warm that I really love, but the arms are quite tight, so I love wearing this underneath it, and when I close it, it looks like I'm wearing a full-size jumper, when really it's just warming up my neck and chest area and a bit of the back. And yeah, that's been really nice and really cozy. It's also way more practical to just grab in your bag and then like a full-size sweater, obviously, because it kind of folds like that, quite small. Then next item, yeah, this is a big piece. I've already told you about, have I? No, I haven't actually, I think. Yeah, so this is a gift to knit for Christmas for my mum. This is the Sophie shawl, and here it is in all its glory. It's quite big. I intended to knit the am I going to be able to show you? Yeah, I think that's the best I can do. Woo! Here it is. It's massive. I intended to knit the biggest size. I actually measured it. I finished it this morning. I had been kind of procrastinating on it and knitting other things, but I finished it this morning. I measured it, and its length is 234 centimeters, and the biggest I buy PetiteKnit is supposed to be 240, so it's just a little short of the biggest size. I knit this in drops Lima, so it is wool and alpaca blend. I actually have a skein here so I can show you. This is the color 0707, and it's a burnt orange that I really love. Yeah, hopefully my mum will like it as much as me. I definitely plan on borrowing it from time to time because it is so cozy for me. I find it really soft. I know my mum is very sensitive to like itchy fabrics, so I really hope she's not going to find it too itchy. I will still block it, and hopefully it becomes even softer once I have blocked it. But yeah, I just love it. You can probably tell that it has some kind of almost golden color, like an undertone, if that makes sense. I don't know, just love it. It is so squishy and warm, and for this I had actually in my stash 8 skeins of this drops Lima, but I ended up using only like 5.9 skeins, so I just I have a little bit, it's actually just right here. I have this left of my 6 skein, and so that means I have 2 skeins of this left, and I was wondering if I could knit myself a beanie with it, or I also really want to knit myself some mittens, so maybe I will do that, although that might be too much yarn for mittens, so I might go with a hat for myself. We will see. Alright, so I think we are now done with PetiteKnit patterns, which is great because I tend to knit a lot of her patterns. For me, they are really basic and beautiful patterns, but yeah, I think for 2023 I might want to diversify the knitting designers that the patterns of the knitting designers that I knit, if that makes any sense. I'm sure you got what I was trying to say. Alright, so now actually I knit a hat for my grandfather's birthday. This part of my family, they live in the south of France where I spent the last weekend. So yeah, I actually recorded a little video of it because I wanted to show it to you before I left, so I will edit in the video now. Hi, so I thought I was going to film this little segment to show you this. So I'm currently getting ready to pack my things, wrap this gift and go to France this afternoon to see my family. So this is a gift for my grandpa whose birthday is very soon. This is the watch cap hat and I thought I was just going to quickly show it to you, tell you a bit about it before I have to wrap it, and I'm not going to be able to show it in person in my next podcast episode. So as I was saying, this is the watch cap hat. You can see it well. By Purl Soho. I heavily modified it. Originally the smallest size is like 120 stitches with a yarn they sell. Did I say it is a free pattern? It is a free pattern. And I experimented around with it. This is actually mostly acrylic, I think, or maybe like a blend, like 60% acrylic, 40% wool, something like that. I don't know, because I made it from balls of yarn that I had just laying around. I don't even really know where they're from. I think my grandma might have given them to me years and years ago, and in my efforts to become kind of stashless and to use every little, well, piece of yarn that I own, I decided that I was going to knit a hat with that. So yeah, also my grandparents live far away, so I'm not around to just like give advice to wash garments or even wash them myself, because I'm afraid they're going to felt them. So I thought acrylic would be probably a safer choice. So I casted, I think, 72 stitches on 5.5mm needles, and I just knit in the round, so it is a double rib, like 2 purls, 2 knits, 2 purls, and there's the the decreases. It's actually quite long if you like that. It's like that, so obviously you can't really wear it if you don't fold it and make it quite a big brim. So I started with, this is kind of a bulky weight yarn. I did not have the tags of the skeins on, so I actually have no idea what that is, but I casted it on, quickly realized I was not going to have enough yarn, and I actually blended knit 3 strands of yarn, which is probably also acrylic, and a bit of wool together to kind of match the gauge of this yarn right here. And I quite like the bicolor look. I think it looks I quite like it. I can try it on. I have a very big head, so it's not like a man is going to have such a bigger head than me, but here it is. I quite like it. I really like the wide brim, and I think it's very comfortable. It's snug without being too tight, and it's warm without being too like mohairy and, well, too warm. They do live in a little bit of a warmer climate, although they travel to the mountains quite a lot. So here it is. I really hope he's going to like it. It's actually the first time I'm knitting him a garment, so yeah, here it is. Quite pleased with it, and especially for using parts of my stash which I never knit with acrylic, so I was quite happy to be able to use it and to put it to good use, because there's actually a reason why acrylic might be better in that case. I actually knit a second one of these watch cap hats. It wasn't planned at the beginning, but I was knitting on it, and I tried it on my boyfriend, because he's a man, and although I do have a big head, I wanted to make sure that it would fit my grandfather, and he was just raving about the hat, telling me how beautiful it looked and that he wanted the same one. So I thought, well, I'm just going to knit him one for Christmas. So here it is. So the second version of the watch cap hat. I had a little less trouble with the decreases at the top. I kind of understood better how it was, how it worked. I really suck at maths, so this I used actually only 70 stitches, and I think I should have casted on 72 or 74 even stitches, because it is a little bit too small. I can try it on, and I mean it does fit, and you can adjust the brim. Like if you have a bigger head, you can make the brim smaller, and it does fit quite well. I'm just afraid that, I don't know, when he has like longer hair, maybe it won't fit as well, but he got his hair cut lately, so hopefully it will work. I really love the color. I'm gonna take it off now. I really love the color. I knit this in Snow by Drops. I kept the tag for you. This is the color 94, and it's like wine burgundy, I guess you could call it. So yeah, 2x2 rib. I really like it. In my experience though, I had knitted hats for my family a few Christmases ago, and now they kind of loosened up, like the yarn kind of relaxed, I guess. So I hope that maybe this one will also relax a little bit and become a little less tight. So yeah, this is that. I used 2.2 skeins. I barely started knitting with the third skein that I had. I probably should have made it a little bit longer, so I probably should have used like 2.5 skeins or even 3 skeins, but oh well, it is fine as it is, and I really love the color, and I really hope he's gonna like it. Alright, so now big event, I knit my first pair of socks. I had attempted to knit socks in the past, but never completed a pair. So I haven't blocked them, so yeah, they look a little bit frumpy, but here they are. These are socks for myself using the I'm So Basic socks pattern. So it's like the school of socks. She really details every step of the way, and I really enjoyed this pattern. It is free, and I think it's just yeah, it's a very good pattern to start knitting socks with. So here they are. I used some Nord sock yarn by Drops, which is thicker than the yarn the designer, so Summer Lee, uses in her pattern. So I actually made the smallest size for these socks, and they fit just right. Actually, I did make a mistake that made them fit better. So I don't know if you can tell, probably. This one is a little bit bigger than this one. By the way, I love the yarn. Like it's kind of a mixed yarn, so it has like variations in color. Oh, I really should block these ones. I haven't blocked them because I don't have any sock blockers, but I thought that I was going to make some using just like a free sort of sheets that, you know, you can just like accommodate for the fit size you would want your sock blockers to be. You print it out and then you can cut it in like rigid material, and I have this like old binder that I'm not really using anymore, and I thought I could use this to just like cut the sock blockers. I know this is something that Emma from Tricot Libri, it's a French podcast that I've told you about like 3 times already, I think. She did that using kitchen like sets that you use for like when you eat, you put them underneath your plate. I don't know how they're called in English, but that could work. So I really should do that for these socks. So I was saying I made a mistake that actually made them better. This one is the smallest version and it fits like a glove. It's really perfect for me. So what I did is that I did 2 rounds of decrease more on that sock than on that sock. So what happened is that I was just like knitting mindlessly, and I was enjoying it so much that I forgot to actually really keep the number of stitches I had on my needles in mind. So I did 2 more rows of decreases, which is 4 stitches decreased too much on that sock compared to that one, which followed the pattern. So the decreases that I'm talking about are these ones. I think it's like the gussets they're called. I'm still not very fluent in sock terminology, but I'm trying. Also, this is a very modified pattern, I guess. Like the decreases I did, the leg is not nearly as long as in the pattern, because I knew that very long socks I was not really going to wear outside of the house, and I don't know if I would dare wearing these socks in boots, for example. So I made them shorter to be wearable with like sneakers for me. And yeah, you do a Kitchener stitch at the end of the foot, and surprisingly, I who hadn't ever really wanted to knit socks, like I was always a bit scared of them, I found it so enjoyable. Like this pair I knit in just a couple of days, a little more, and it was just like interesting enough with the whole, well, you got the cuff and then the heel construction, you knit the heel and then the gusset stitches, and like it's super cute at the back with the little like triangle. But you also have some mindless knitting where it's just like knitting on the leg, and on the foot it's just stockinette, and it's really enjoyable. It's a project that you can take anywhere, and even if you have a smaller bag. So yeah, I think I'm a little addicted to socks now. I've already started on another pair of socks that I'm going to show you in just a moment, but for now I really like these ones. I will write the name, the number, like the color of the yarn here. I really like it. I think it's a mix of wool, alpaca, and polyamide, and it has like 25% of polyamide inside, so it's really sturdy, because I'm not yet about to knit socks with without plastic, polyamide, or nylon, however you want to call it. I don't know, for now I haven't knitted enough socks for me to be brave enough to knit them without and risk them getting a little, well, getting a little less wear out of them because they might break. So yeah, been loving these. I have worn them quite a few times just at home for now. I still have to, I don't know if it's also your experience, but when I finished them I wanted to wear them, so I wore them around the house a bunch, but for now I haven't worn them outside. I don't know if I'm scared of wearing them out or what, but yeah, that will happen eventually. But for now, I don't know, there's a strange block in my mind that keeps me from actually wearing them outside. I gotta get over that. Next, still looking at my notes. Oh, I actually forgot that one. Wait, I'm gonna like go grab it, but first I will tell you about the rest of the finished items. So I knit scrunchies, quite a bunch of them. Yeah, if you're interested in them, my last video is actually a tutorial for them. That was the first time I was recording a tutorial, and most of all, like doing a voiceover, that was kind of nerve-wracking, but I think it went all right. So as I'm filming this, I actually posted it yesterday. So yeah, I haven't really gotten any comment on it so far, but yeah, hopefully that was understandable. Okay, so these scrunchies, there's no pattern, like written patterns for them, because I just kind of improvised them. Everything is explained in my video if you're interested. So I'm going to kind of go quickly talking about them because there's all the information in the tutorial. So these two are knit using drop snapple, This one has less stitches on than this one. This one is 70 stitches, this one is 90 stitches, I think. This one is a mix of drops alpaca and drops kid silk, and it's a bit smaller. And this one is just one strand of brushed alpaca silk by Drops. And I've been actually wearing them a lot. I love them, just like the different colors and things. I think they're so aesthetic, and I really wanted to put out sorry, I really wanted to put out the video, the tutorial rather, before Christmas, because in my opinion they're the perfect little Christmas gift. I think these two are going to go to, so I haven't worn this two, I wore this two a lot. These two are going to go to my boyfriend's mum this winter. I really hope she likes it. But yeah, they're the perfect Christmas gift, or whatever gift you want for others or for yourself. And yeah, I've been really enjoying knitting them. It's kind of a mindless knit. It's super small, super tiny, and you get to use a lot of your yarn leftovers. So I've been stash busting a lot with those. Yeah, that's been really nice. Now I'm going to go pick my last finished item before showing you the works in progress. So here it is. This is going to be one of my Christmas gifts for my boyfriend. This is actually crochet. It is the, how's it called again? The Lacy Leaf Bookmark by Olga Poltava. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And I just used some leftover crochet or embroidery thread that I had laying around. Can you see anything? And here it is. I'm not very good at crochet, so it might be full of mistakes. If you are good at crochet, you can probably tell. But I really like it, and I think it's quite original. I love the colors. It's very like autumnal colors, and it's kind of a not that quick of a project. When you see it like that, you think that it's going to take you like an hour. Also, you have to take into account that I am very new at crochet. I actually started crocheting before I started knitting, but I never really got good at it. And then I didn't crochet for years, so I kind of forgot a lot of stuff. So I had to re-teach myself the different stitches and all of that. So it might have influenced, well, it did influence how much time it took me to crochet that, but I still really like it. I think it took me like 2 evenings or something like that, a little less probably. So yeah, here it is. Now we can start on the works in progress. So I only have three and a half really. Okay, they're here, so I'm going to try to show you. This is going to be a tough one though. So I know earlier I said that I was done with PetiteKnit. Actually, turns out I had forgotten about this one. So this is the weekend slipover, the beginning of the weekend slipover by PetiteKnit. Here it is. So it is a V-neck, as you can tell, slipover. I haven't actually written anything down, but I did talk about it in my fall knitting plans if you're interested. So this is knit in one strand of Echo Highland wool, I think it's called, by Viking of Norway, and one strand of Poltava, which just fell on the ground. This is a great, the Poltava by Istex. A great unspun yarn, and I really wanted to add some fuzziness to the slipover, but I did not want to use mohair, and as I am on a yarn no buy and stash busting journey, I chose to use that, and it does give a lot of halo. It's less soft than mohair. Quite prickly really, but with washing apparently it becomes softer, so I will see how it does, and it was the perfect color combination. There's just a little bit of variation, but I really like it. I think it looks really nice, and I can't wait to finish it. But I have put it a little bit on the back burner for now because I really needed to get my Christmas knitting going, and with exams and just general family things and revisions, all of that, I didn't have as much time for knitting as I usually do. So yeah. Next project is this little guy, which is kind of all tangled up. This is going to be a gnome. The pattern is Leave Gnome, like gnome, Stone Unturned by Sarah Schira. And it's going to be so cute. Oh my god, this has already taken me so much time to knit because I'm knitting it using one strand of horse yarn, which is kind of a light fingering weight yarn, and it's not really washed. They sell it in balls but also in cones, and their whole like politic for the super soft yarns is that it still has some spinning oil in it, so you have to wash it to make it bloom and make it like expand a little bit, I guess, and it allows them to sell it for cheaper. It's 100% wool yarn, and I have like a few cones and a few skeins by them, so I decided to use that one. This is going to be a Christmas gift for my grandmother this season, and I'm, well, probably something like halfway along because I have already knitted the few, like, I was going to say accessories, but this is supposed to be a little beard and a little nose, and it's going to be here. I actually haven't put it like in place since I've knitted it, and now I'm like, oh wow, that is so cute. I don't know if you can see well, but here it is. I also knit the two little arms, which are going to go on this side. I'll show you once it's finished, and this is a little pom-pom. Can you see anything? That is going to go like on the hat, like that. How cute is that? Like, I can't wait to be finished with it. I haven't really modified anything in this pattern. I think, yeah, I'm making the stripes of the little shirt a little bit thicker, and that's it. For the beard, little thing to note, this is also one strand of, like, I think the color is almond. If you're curious, the color for the green is Cossack. This is tobacco, I think, and this is Venetian red. So this uses one strand of horse yarn, but for the beard I thought I wanted it to be a little bit more fuzzy, so I added one strand of leftover kid silk mohair by Drops that I had. This, for the nose, I didn't use the kid silk, I just used the horse yarn, so it's not fuzzy and it still stays a proper nose, I guess. Yeah, I think this is going to be absolutely adorable. In the pattern there's also like a mini gnome, I think it's called Newt. When you buy the pattern there's like a whole story and stuff, but Christmas is coming towards us really fast, so I didn't really have the time to have the proper experience. I think it was an M-Cal at the beginning, so I didn't knit it that way. I just like grabbed the pattern and knit it away. I'm knitting it using 2.25 double knitted needles, and it's taking me a long time, but for now I really love it. I think it's going to look lovely. I really love the pattern. It's very clearly written, and there are links for YouTube videos for every step of the way, so that was a great help for me. Alright, so now we're beginning on the barely started works in progress. I actually just cast this on this morning and we're still morning, so it's a tiny bit of a sock. this is going to be my dad's pair of socks for this Christmas. My dad is a very difficult person to knit for. Well, to gift anything to, really. I'm sure this experience isn't only in my family, but he doesn't really wear anything. Like, I guess I could knit him a jumper, but that's a lot of commitment. So yeah, I thought this year wool socks, handmade wool socks, could do the trick. So I used this yarn, which is a variegated yarn. Like, it's kind of self-striping, but it's not really stripes. It's this one by Drops. It's called Fable, I think. I don't have the number of the color. I was a little disappointed, I must say, when I got it in the mail a few months ago, I think, because on the website it looks so nice, and actually, I don't know, I think it will look nice in a pair of socks, like basic socks. This is going to be the same pattern of socks as I knit for myself, because it's a very like basic stockinette pattern, and I had started to knit the Hermione socks with the same yarn because I have a ton of it, and there's a little like stitch pattern on the leg and the top of the foot, and in my opinion it just looked too busy, too distracting. The pattern wasn't like you couldn't really see the pattern well, so it wasn't adding anything nice. It was just making it busy while the pattern is super sweet. But I really want to knit these Hermione socks, but in like a plain yarn. I think this was just not really working. So yeah, I'll keep you updated on that one. I have already knit this pattern. I thought, well, it's safer to not start on a whole different pattern. Now that I've kind of not mastered, but I've knit a basic pattern, I might as well use it. That is it for the works in progress. Now I think I'm going to tell you a little bit about just like future projects that I want to knit during and after my exams. I do have exams coming up in January, and then I'm going to travel for 2 weeks. So yeah, I don't think I will have a lot of time for knitting, but I still have like a few projects in mind that I can tell you about quickly. Alright, so I got the yarn that I wanted to tell you about, and the first project that I would love to knit is another Sophie shawl, but this time for myself. I really enjoyed this pattern, I really enjoyed the construction, I really enjoyed the simplicity of it, and it's just not exactly a totally mindless knit because you still have to count the number of rows you're doing before increasing or decreasing, but it's still mindless enough so that it doesn't take really brain space. So it's a perfect project to knit during time, kind of stressful time like exams, revisions and stuff like that. So I have this yarn. It appears kind of white here, I think. In reality, it's a very, very soft and light blue, kind of baby blue you could call it, I guess. And this is, once again, some Drops yarn. This is Flora number 14, and this is Kid Silk number 7. So I had bought this combination of yarn, not really knowing what I would knit with it, and I was just looking for my stash for yarns that I could use for a Sophie shawl for myself, and I stumbled upon it. And I remember that when I was little, my mum had a big like pashmina, I guess, a huge scarf that was this exact color, or almost. It was a light blue, and I loved borrowing it from her and just like wearing it. And from then on, I just always had kind of a I was always attracted to light blue scarves and just shawls in general, so I thought, wow, that's the perfect time to make one for myself. So yeah, another PetiteKnit pattern that I will knit. I think definitely one of my goals for 2023 is to knit more independent design. Well, she is she is an independent designer, but like smaller designers, because I feel like I'm only talking about PetiteKnit, and while I love her patterns, it's becoming a little bit boring and I need a bit of variety. Even just talking about the pattern writing style, really love her patterns. I think they are of great quality, but yeah, for now I think I want to venture in more like little designers. The second project that I want to tell you about is not a little designer. I'm contradict. Oh, there's the kind of lorry for the snow. I have no idea how it's called. It's called chasse-neige in French. Basically the truck that removes the snow from the road. You might have heard it. So yeah, this is a pattern by My Favorite Things Knitwear that I've already knit in the past, and I've already told you that I wanted to knit a version for myself. For my birthday, I got a lot of kit silk by Drops Moha from my mum in the color 39. This is a lovely blue kind of jeans almost color, and I had bought this cone of yarn during my Scandinavia and Germany trip this summer, and from the Hamburger Wollfabrik, and I want to pair them together to make the sweater number 14 V-neck for myself this time. This is going to be in 2 strands of mohair and 1 strand of, this is 100% wool that I bought for a very cheap price when I was in Germany. So yeah, I'm very enthusiastic about it. As you can tell, a lot of blue. I don't know, this autumn I was very drawn to rust colors and just like dark green and burgundy colors, and now that it's starting to be colder and colder and we're coming towards winter, I could say, like, looking at the weather and just the snow that is falling, I'll show you a video of it. I'm more drawn towards colder colors, I guess, and blue is one of them. Not that I can ever really get tired of rust or burgundy. I think it's just the different kind of moods that change during the year. So yeah, I will keep you updated for all that. I also really want to knit myself a pair of mittens. I've already told you that, but I really don't know which yarn to use. I want a yarn that is quite fine, that I could knit with really tiny needles so that they don't wear too fast. I've seen a lot of them knitted in Cardiff cashmere. I think Handmade by Florence knit herself a pair in that yarn. But yeah, first of all, I'm on a no yarn buy journey, so it's out of the question. But yeah, I don't know if I would invest in that. Maybe in the future, we'll see. Alright, so I think that is it for this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it and that you maybe found a little bit of inspiration or just company while you are knitting. It was a pleasure to be here with you once again. I really love filming these podcasts. I really feel like I'm talking to a friend and just like presenting all the things that I've been working on and that I'm really excited about. So yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you feel like it. And yeah, I'll see you in not too long. Bye.